7.4 Homeostasis and cell. The first question you should ask is what we mean by homeostasis. So, if homeo mean same, and stasis here is come from word stable, so I have a same and stable, and yes, I have same, homeo, same, and here stable or stop moving. So what we mean now by homeostasis and what the relation between homeostasis and the cell. So the homeostasis mean keeping stable material environment. So that mean I should make balance in my body. So how can cell organism make this balance? How cell work together to maintain this homeostasis? In other words, how to keep the body internal environment constant? How that happen? How we can maintain the homeostasis inside your cell, inside your body? So how do individual cells maintain homeostasis? So from homeostasis here, I have a constant internal physical and chemical conditions. That mean I make balance between these physical and chemical conditions, and that mean I maintain this homeostasis by balance or make all the environment here or internal environment in your body or the physical and chemical conditions constant. That means it stop change. We make it stable. We don't have this movement to make it stable, so everything is constant. So that means all unicellular organisms must maintain this homeostasis. So what we mean by this unicellular organisms? So the unicellular organisms is that cell which live in their own. So it's grow alone, responds alone without use any type of cell. So it's not need the other cell to make its activity. So it's grow and respond to environment, transfer the energy and reproduce. And all that just alone. So the unicellular organisms is that cell which live on their own. So these unicellular organisms have two types. It can be prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Example about prokaryotes is a bacteria. And this bacteria is found everywhere. It can be in your pork, it can be in the food, it can be everywhere, in air, in water. And this bacteria, like you, it's need energy, it's need food, so it's need to make a many type of activity to still survive in this environment or to stay in its environment. Eukaryotes, protozoans, it's an example about the eukaryote cell, and it's also a type of cell which spends its life as a single cell. But that not mean that the single cell is very simple. That is not correct. So if we take for example the cell or this tiny cell that can be found in the surface of pencil here, this cell is still need a source of energy or food, and this cell still need to make a homeostasis, still need to make a balance between the chemical and physical conditions inside it, and this cell still need an amount of energy, and this cell still responds to its environment and the changing on it. So that means this single cell is not always simple. Now, what the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms? So in unicellular organisms, I have this cell which live in their own, but in multicellular organisms, I have this cell like a human cell. And this human cell is not live in their own. So it's an interdependent. So this cell of a human multicellular organism not live in their own. It's interdependent. But a unicellular organisms is live in their own. So that was the difference between a unicellular and multicellular. First one live in their own. The second one is not live in their own. Now, how do the cell of multicellular organism work together to maintain homeostasis? So if you have this different cell, so again, in multicellular organisms, we have a many cell, so more than one cell, because this cell is not living their own. So we have a different type of cell, and each of these cell is specialized for particular task. So this cell communicate with each other and help each other to maintain the homeostasis. So in multicellular organism, okay, each one of these cells is specialized for particular task and communicate with one with other just to make or to maintain a homeostasis. Like this organism here, I have a multicellular organism here. So each one of this cell has its special tasks to do. So it's specialized. Okay, so each one of it will help the other cell to maintain its homeostasis. So this cell communicate and work together to make a homeostasis. So specialized animal cell. We have all this air around you and you breathe it, and even this air is cleanest or freshest air. It is still dirty. What we mean by that? That means this air contains different type of particles, and this particle, it may be bacteria, it may be dust, it may be smoke, anything like that. And all this stuff can be enter just or try to get into your lungs. What prevent all this material or all this stuff, bad stuff, to get in your lungs? All that done by million of cells. This million of cells is found in your lungs. In your lungs here we have a million of cells, and this cell is work night and day just to sweep in this mucus and bacteria out of your lungs. So it's try to prevent everything or every bad stuff to enter your lungs, and that means it's keep your lungs clean. So all these million cells work together to prevent all this bad stuff to get in your lungs. Now, what about plant? Specialized in plant cell. So how can plant tree rotate in place and make a new offspring by with another tree that is very, very far away from it? So this is a tree, it's very, very far away from this tree, and it's just 100 meters away from it. So how we can make a new offspring by all these space between these two trees? And that done just by this plant trees. It's release a million of pollen grains, and this pollen grains just scatter the wind to find this tree and to make this new generation. So that specialized the plant cell. So each type of cell in a plant specialize its task. The multicellular organism organized to first to tissues, then to organs, then an organ system. So we start with this very small matter inside your body, then we go to tissues, and then organ system, and then your body, which is an organism. So we have a tissues, then organ system. So organ system include your organ, and this organ included this tissues. So what we mean by tissue is the group of similar cells that perform a particular function. So the tissue is made from many cells. So that's the meaning of tissues. So what we mean by organ? The organ is many group of tissues work together. So that means the organ is made from many tissues. Now what we mean by organ? Without read this definition here, the organ system is the many organ work together, okay, to make a specific function. So The tissue is the many cell try to make particular function. Then organ is many tissues or it's a group of tissues work together, and the organ system is a group of organ work together to perform a specific function, and organism is a group of organ system that work together. So we start by the cell, then by the tissue, then organ system, then organism. So this tissue is made from group of cell, the organ is made from the group of tissue work together, and organ system is made from group of organ that make work together, and the organism is made from organ system, a group of organ systems that work together.